in your time master track.
Man, I think I'm going to have to keep that recording.
And delete it.
Hello, and welcome back to another Monday edition of the Bamsters News. This time we've got for you some crowdfunding information, some DLCs, and new video games. And with me today I have G-Talk.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, it is, as Drax says, Monday edition. Yay.
You sound about as excited as I usually feel on a Monday morning.
Well, it is Monday morning. It's 1 o'clock Sunday, Monday morning. Yeah.
Alright, so first up, if you didn't get enough of Chernobyl if you ever played Stalker, there's a Kickstarter that just recently finished up, surpassed more than twice what they were asking for, called Chernobylite. And basically they were asking for about $100K to finish the game that they've been working on, and raised over $200K. And with a $30 price tag for a digital edition of the game, sounds like they did pretty good with that.
Yeah, it was weird because I had actually not heard about this one. And normally things set in Chernobyl, it has my interest because I remember 86. And, it's always fun to see what they dig out now.
Well, you say it's fun to see what they dig out. They actually took drones and 3D scanned and mapped the area and used that to recreate in-game. So that to me was really impressive, that it's not just guys going out and taking pictures, drawing stuff and then 3D modeling it. They actually went out and scanned it. And they also did some kind of documentary project, which for those who backed it on Kickstarter are going to get a free copy of that, from what I understand. So, that's pretty cool. And the game itself is going to be, it's a survival horror type thing where you get some kind of supernatural elements built into the game as well. But I don't know. Overall, it looks pretty neat. And I'd say if it's something that you're interested in, keep an eye out on it. They are coming to Steam. And they said that they would definitely be releasing to Steam. They're not going to make a change to that, but they might add additional storefronts later on after the Steam release.
Then I guess it's perfect timing for them, because HBO has been talking up their show. I think they literally just released now. Started airing on HBO, for those that can take that. Also a Chernobyl story, where they're going back and looking at what led to it and what happened in the days after.
Oh.
So for people curious about it, there's plenty of material.
Yeah, there you go. You can watch the HBO show and get ready for the game's release in November.
I might point out, I like that it says on Kickstarter where people are from, so the moment you linked this, I went and looked, Gliwice, yeah. They were fairly close to it. We're still talking a few hundred kilometers away, but still not that far from it when it happened.
Well, and one of the cool stretch goals that they achieved is that there's going to be a red forest added. That was one of the last stretch goals that they got to. So they describe it as the most radioactive forest on the Earth. And that made me think of something I remembered hearing, I think maybe back when I lived in Germany, where there was some restaurants that were serving boar meat that had to take it off the menu for a while because it was found that the boar meat was radioactive because the boars had been up in the area of Chernobyl.
Possibly, yeah. Today there's still, you're not allowed to sell fruit and vegetables from the exclusion area, but there's a further area that also say you can only sell a certain amount of fruit and veg from that area. So wouldn't be surprised if animals got into those areas and ate stuff and came back slightly radioactive. But in most of Europe, you're not allowed to eat boars. So
I don't know if that's a recent change. I left Germany in 92. So, yeah. Little while ago.
Good year to leave Germany. We beat them in the European Cup that year.
Wait, was it 92 or 94? Oh, well, one of those years.
You old bro.
Yeah. Well, and on the same vein of crowdfunding, fig.co, which is a site that we've mentioned a few times here and there when we've found an interesting Kickstarter going on there. They run a similar, I guess I'd say 30-day format like Kickstarter itself. And there are folks who've done campaigns to fund video games on Fig instead of Kickstarter. One of the standout things from fig.co is that you can, I guess you can donate and I don't know what the percentage requirements or I should say monetary requirement is in the individual cases, but you can donate a certain amount of money in order to actually get like stake in the game itself. So you like then end up kind of it's like owning stock, I guess, basically, in a way. But anyway, they're instituting a new open-ended campaign, and basically what that means is if you are used to Steam, think something like early access, and so this will be a way for video game developers who are still working on a game to market and acquire funds for that game while the game is still in development.
Yeah, this is just early access with more tiers. There isn't much difference between what they're doing and what an early access on any other platform is, except they have more tiers. You can pay in more money instead of just a fixed amount and here's the game.
So
I guess it's nice enough, but it's fun when they say, 30-day campaigns don't work anymore. Well, guess what? 60-day campaigns work as well or as not well as 30 days. So I'm a little bit confused about this one. I agree that it's an interesting approach, but I think it's not going to matter much. Fake does not have that much traffic.
I think this is probably a bid to get more traffic, but the way that you describe it, it starts to make me think. So like Star Citizen, but hopefully not as expensive or take as long.
Well, it is. This is Star Citizen's model, because you see this more and more of them, where they go, okay, we had our Kickstarter or crowdsourcing, and now we still need money, so we're going to continue doing this. Star Citizen's far from the only one who's done it. It's just the ones who've done it the most. So it's taking Star Citizen's model and basically putting it straight into the crowdsourcing thing.
Yeah, so at least another interesting way to potentially fund development of a game that you're, watching and excited about prior to it actually releasing.
And you can actually do it now, because I guess, what's it called? Vagrous Riven Realms is up on FIC right now. It's at 4% after, 2 days? So not exactly a lot, but again, they don't have a small ask exactly.
Yeah, and I think by the middle of the week, something called Peg Leg is going to be going up. It's a tower defense game.
Yeah. I mean, Vagrous looks interesting. If nothing else, check that one out. But, I don't really see it as being anything new besides they've taken bits and pieces that already existed and just put it into one place, which might be a good idea.
Well, if you're looking for something a little new, how about some DLC for an RPG that's been kind of fun to play?
How is that new? The game is out.
Because it's DLC. It's downloadable content. New content.
Okay, so it's new content to something that isn't new.
Doesn't that fit all the criteria almost of what you were just talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Titan Quest has got a new DLC that just released on the 9th. It's called Atlantis. And basically, you're going to be exploring and searching for the mythical kingdom of Atlantis. And you journey across the Western Mediterranean. Looking at the description for here, it says that the key lies in the legendary diary of Heracles, rumored to be in the Phoenician city of Gadir. But the journey will take but the journey will take them to the edges of the known world, which, I guess that means the edges of the map.
It says taken beyond the edges of the known world. And if you're into particularly Greek mythology and basically also the history and everything they talked about back in the age of the Venetians, Gadir is on the other side of the edge of the world.
Oh, yeah? Yeah?
Yeah, because it's on the other side of Spain. It's on the outside.
But yeah, Titan Quest has been kind of a fun action RPG to play, and I love the fact that you can play it cooperatively, so I get a chance to play that at the LAN sessions with my buddies.
Yeah, I don't have anything. Not actually gotten into it.
Well, unfortunately for you at least, I think you can only play on Windows, so no Mac for you.
Okay, so not interesting.
Well, here's another one you can complain about not being interested in, since I don't know if there's a Mac version of this one either, but there was a lot of news this past week about the next installment in the Tom Clancy Ghost Recon Wildlands series, Breakpoint. And they just, I guess, was it middle of last week? Released a free DLC mission to the original Wildlands game, which acts as sort of a prequel to set up some story points for Breakpoint. And one of the cool things that they've done with this is that they've got John Bernthal, who many of you may recognize as the Punisher. He's playing the character that you will interact with in the free story mission for Wildlands, and he also plays the I almost want to say spoiler warning, but not really, because they show it in the trailer. He plays the big bad in the next game.
Well, I can tell you that Ghost Recon Wildlands is actually a game I like. I don't like the setting. I think that somebody up in Kazakhstan got a little bit too racist with this shit. But the game itself is excellent.
Well,
and it does play on the PS4.
Ah, that's true. PS4, yeah, I forgot about that. So then maybe you'll like this, because they're taking this to a fictional island now. And I think they called it Aurora. It wasn't Aurora, I think it was just Aurora. But they're saying that the map itself for this island is pretty much the same size as the original Wildlands map that you get to play in. So the island itself seems to be pretty massive. It's going to have several different types of like quote unquote biomes to play in. So you'll have your, jungle and forest area. You've got some rocky, snowy areas, and even towards the end when they release I think it was an 8-player raid is what they said. It's going to be in an active volcano. So definitely some nice little variety there to go through in the what did you call it when you started playing it? Like a driving simulator with shooting elements or something like that?
Yeah, that was pretty much what it was, because you just drove around all the time, and then occasionally got out and shot things. Or you took a helicopter, you flew a bit, and you got out and shot things.
Yeah.
And, the only really bad thing I had to say about the game, besides the obvious one that I mentioned, nobody I knew played it, so I had to play it with myself.
But, yeah, they're introducing classes into this one, too, so some additional, like, skills and whatnot that you'll be able to work on as far as you're building your character, and I think you can switch between the classes if I understood correctly. So they got some interesting like takedown animations for close quarter combat that change based on the weapon you're using. And I gotta say, I'm watching the trailer, and maybe it's because of the way they're portraying some of the technology. Maybe it's just because in the last Wildlands game we got a Predator DLC. But this one really seems to have like a Terminator feel to it for me. So I'd love to see if, like, we got Predator with the last Wildlands, can we get a Terminator DLC with this one?
I feel the technology is getting away from it, because it was nice and low tech-ish in the current version. What we saw seemed too fantastical. I didn't find that enjoyable.
Wildlands Breakpoint is available for pre-order, but it doesn't release until the 4th of October. I don't always recommend to folks to pre-order a game, but Ubisoft has been one of the few companies lately that the games that have been coming out recently, it's not that they don't have any issues, but a lot of times, and especially for myself at least, they've played pretty well. They've been, pretty complete as far as, what you can expect from a live service game. So, entirely up to you. And they do have some collector's edition statues as well that you can pick up if that's your thing.
Well, you know me. Don't pre-order, and if it comes out October 4th, wait until November and get it cheap at Amazon.
Yeah, you can always hope for a deal on Amazon. Plus, by then, you've gotten the first couple of patch cycles out of the way.
Yeah. But as I said, I would play it, particularly now it's set somewhere more interesting. Except now everything just feels Division-y and too futuristic.
I don't know. I enjoyed Wildlands for what it was for as long as I played that, and I think I put 100 hours in that game, or at least somewhere near that. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this one. It ought to be fun.
Good. I think you have one more on your topic.
I do. So you talked about how old I was, or how old we are. But do you remember the tabletop RPG Werewolf the Apocalypse?
Yeah, but not as in I played it, but as in when we talked about what to move to next, it was one of the topics. Back.
You're supposed to play along.
Around, yeah, early 90s, I was saying.
Yeah, I briefly played it, I think, for a couple of sessions. I was checking it out. It was an interesting game, just something I didn't end up sticking with, but now there's going to be a video game, and pay attention to E3 this year, because the title they're going with, Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. So this is something that we're expecting more information at E3. I don't know if they're going to show any kind of gameplay or if there'll be any kind of cinematic trailer or what exactly is going to be there, just that they're supposed to have some information on it at E3.
Okay, so Werewolf the Apocalypse game, Vampire the Masquerade is coming out as a game finally. Seems to be somebody's tapping into older games, older settings, older RPGs, older tabletop. Quite a lot.
Some folks are getting White Wolf licenses.
Yeah. Gee, I wonder who sold off that. Our friends up nicely.
All right, and with that, we're going to close out the news segment for today. Thank you for sticking with us. As always, we appreciate any likes and comments. If you have something that you see that you think we missed and you'd like us to cover, let us know. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your week. We will be back on Wednesday.
Well, talking of tabletops.
Well, yeah, actually, I guess that's a great segue. So this Wednesday is Tabletop Gods.
Cute little game coming out on Thursday. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, and when you get to watch that video, you'll get to see G steamroll me a couple of times.
Hey, you had me on the ropes once.
All right, thanks, everybody. Catch you later.
Ciao.